Sea to Sky Highway, driving from Vancouver to Whistler. I'm a huge fan of the Olympic Games. I always have been. I grew up in one of those families where when the winter or summer games were on, we would all crowd around the television in the rec room. I know when I started playing hockey as a kid, I had that feeling that, that the other guys knew. Being different, feeling different from them. I think that's what made me stop playing. I remember that locker room time, and because I was that boy who was also in the drama club, I would get called all kinds of names, and it was really awkward and uncomfortable. And I think a lot of kids would avoid playing sports, avoid phys ed, avoid all that stuff, because why put yourself in that situation where the other kids are going to make fun of you?
When I was growing up as a kid, I'm a very enthusiastic kind of person, and enthusiasm is not so cool when you're a grade 7 boy. It just doesn't fit in, right? And so it sort of separated me from everybody else. And I was pegged the fag, and came to school one day and fag was on the locker. And I remember going home to my parents and dying of shame and embarrassment, not even really knowing what the word meant, but just knowing this was not a nice thing. And my mom saying all night, like, come on, you can tell me what happened at school today, you can tell me. And when I finally told her, her face just went so white. And I was like, I could tell it wasn't good. Going back to school the next day and sitting with the principal and him not knowing in 1981 how to deal with this and saying it probably would be best if you change schools. And getting caught in that sort of cycle of, shit, I'm less than human.
My own internalized confusion and disgust at what I was also pretty prominent there, because I ran and was just filled with shame, and I played a part in it for sure. So it wasn't like that incident made me an Olympic champion, but it certainly made that area of my life more important, because I was such a total isolation, hated, ridiculed, bullied person at school that, like, of course sport was like, oh, at least I have this. Just to show how backwards you can be in thinking. I didn't think of gay rights as human rights, to be honest. I think I felt less than human for a large part of my life.
I first heard about Pride House probably about a year ago, working on a project with a gentleman by the name of Dean Nelson and his business partner Ken Coolin. And they came up with this concept of trying to set up a space for gay and lesbian athletes, coaches, their friends, and family. And it's gotten a lot of international media attention.
For the first time in Olympic history, we have a pavilion that actually celebrates diversity and is public about homophobia in sports and in society in general.
If you think about it, like male sexuality, male affection, male expression of emotion in general is so stifled in society in general. And I think sport allows a place where it's okay to do that. It is in that sense a sacred place for bum patting and hugging and chest bumping and towel flicking and all of those things, and it's all very harmless. But when you add the idea that somebody in that group might be a homosexual, but when that sort of element is dropped in it, something implodes in that sacred place where it's okay to do that.
Well, why do you think the media is so excited about seeing you here in Pride House today?
I don't necessarily think they are.
No? You don't think they are?
Well, I know I'm excited because this is going to be one of the last days that I really kind of talk about these things.
Yeah.
I think, as an individual, it is a nice big story in a way. It's the first time there's been some presence of the rainbow and the LGBT community at an Olympic Games, albeit it's among the pavilions, it's not on the inside.
Hi, Mark, I'll ask you, obviously you're aware of the comments that were made, it has been brought up a couple times about Johnny Weir. Your initial thoughts, and are you surprised to hear these type of comments being made in the mass meeting?
I mean, totally unacceptable. This is just like 2010. And I think Johnny Weir adds a fantastic element to men's figure skating. It doesn't send the message that you have to be Johnny or be like him. It shows that all kinds of people take up figure skating and all kinds of people can be excellent at figure skating. I just was actually quite shocked that that is still happening in 2010. But hence, I'm still shocked that I'm talking about this issue 12 years after coming out. So, I hope that more progress in the next decade comes. It's time for some new voices on these issues. And it's probably, I think that person or people are out there. If everybody came out, I always thought that, that National Coming Out Day, if everybody could just step up on one day, be astounded the number of people in the sports system. I just have nothing left to say about being gay in sport. It's time for somebody else to take that torch and run with it. So come out wherever you are, because it's really time. Love is a human right.